So like I said earlier, I am not a gatekeeper. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on with this market and break down the things that most people don't tell you about. So let's look at the historical returns of the Nasdaq versus the S&P 500. So here you're going to see over the past 15 years, the Nasdaq 100 has delivered on a compounded annual return basis around 16% return, while the S&P 500 has returned about 8%. Now this is massive. And I want folks to understand the reason why. Remember when I broke down the different sectors in the S&P 500 versus the Nasdaq? Well, we saw that the Nasdaq has way more technology companies as the S&P 500. So this is how I tend to look at it, and this is how I try to break it down. Let's say, watch. The world that we live in today, do we think it's going to be more tech dominant or less tech dominant? Do we think technology is going to be more a part of our lives or less part of our lives? And that's where I want investors to start getting their mindset. Now, be mindful, over time, the S&P 500 more than likely will change its allocation and how much companies are in the tech industry. So right now it might be 40, but in 10 years, it might be 50. It might be 60%. We don't know. However, at least when you're within the ETFs, it gives you exposure to multiple companies and multiple sectors. I just want you to understand that one sector has been outperforming the other a lot more than we think. And here's a look at what those portfolios will look like. So here we have Scott and here we got Jill. Scott started off with an initial investment of $500. However, he did $300 monthly contribution and where he was investing in the S&P 500. And he did this for 15 years with an 8% return. But Jill started off with 5, did 300 monthly for 15 years, but she got that 16%. So we could see here, Scott did extremely well. He was able to grow his investment portfolio to $99,000, which is amazing. So you see the total contributions that he put in was $54,500, but his investment grew to $99,000 just based on that 8% interest. Now, Jill, on the other hand, her investment grew to $190,000, which is a $90,000 difference between her and Scott. So she had the same contribution, $54,500. However, it grew to $190,000. Now, this is not me saying, hey, just put all your money to the Nasdaq, because if anything wants to happen to the technology sector, the Nasdaq will get hit a lot harder than the S&P 500. But I want to expose your mind to different content and different information that's out there that most people won't tell you about. So all you hear, please like, please comment, please subscribe. I would truly appreciate it. I'm working really hard to make sure that you guys have the best information available to you, and I'm looking forward to your success. And please let me know what you think about the information that I've been providing thus far.